Hey, and welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Huck Breeze, and I'm joined here today by Lamar Jackson enthusiast, Scott Sheddick. Scott, how are you?
That is hard to hear. That's a first. But also,
Not a
I'm
lie.
doing great. Um, I'm just, so glad we had a great draft. Everybody has their teams now, and we have a lot to look forward to. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I got my notes done today, finished them up earlier at lunch for our rankings that we're doing today. So, yeah, this is the ranking show. This is what we're going to do pretty much the whole show. We're going to go over, um, you know, who we thought, had the best draft, who we think has the best, foundation for a good season. So, yeah, I'm doing great. Recovering still a little bit. When you're 38 years old, uh, 3 nights in a row going hard, shots, beers. Um,
It's tough. I agree,
it's tough. It's
but
tough.
it was a
And
hell of a lot of fun.
oh, so much fun. Didn't get 8 hours of sleep, not one night. But fantastic food. I mean, that's the best I've eaten in a while. Glizzies,
Well, we had amazing hosts.
oysters.
I think we need to
Yeah.
thank Clay and Aubrey. They were just absolutely amazing hosts. Cheers to them.
Yeah.
Um,
Cheers to them
what
with my Chick-fil-A cup.
Nice. What are you drinking?
Uh, Diet Coke.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
Diet Coke. Yeah,
Yeah.
exotic.
But but yes, thank you, Aubrey and Clay. That was absolutely amazing draft. That was
Y-
the food,
Yeah.
the hospitality, and the Cobra room was such a great choice. That was so much fun, so unique.
The city as a whole. Yeah, I haven't been to Savannah since I was way younger, like 12 years old, 11. So it's been 20 plus years. And I felt like that city was amazing. I'd love to go back sometime, not fancy football related, and explore. We got to go to Tybee Beach. We didn't get to spend a lot of time on the beach itself, but explored the bar scene there and got to explore like restaurants and whatnot. And yeah, it's a cool place to go. Just everything about Southeast Georgia or Eastern Georgia that was amazing. So yeah, you're right. Thank you, Clay. Thank you, Aubrey. Thank you, everybody that contributed. Thank you for everybody that came. That is amazing. We always like to see, people show up, and we love the attendance. So, but it's over. That's it.
It
It's a
is.
big hurdle in what fantasy football season is. One of my favorite parts of the year is about to come up, and that's football season, Halloween, the fall. Everything's warming up here. We're entering the last few weeks of preseason, and teams are starting to take shape. I don't think we're far enough away from the draft that the draft doesn't mean anything because it clearly does to people trading, to people picking people up. However, it's time to uh, really put a label on who we think had a good draft and bad draft. Let me start by saying this. How did you do your rankings? Was it just fives or what?
So my rankings, I did a ranking of 1 to 5, one being the best, five being the worst, and you add up the score. So I ranked against their QBs, their wide receivers, their running backs, their defense as a whole, and then just value overall. Like if they had an amazing tight end or great stuff on the bench that could turn into things like tradable pieces, and then total that up. And like I said, lowest score was had the best. I will say, well, yes, some teams I believe are better than others. It's a very close margin. There's not. I don't feel like from first to last is a very wide gap by any means. For instance, you made a couple moves this week alone that I was like, it took those into account, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit better, and it moved you. So, like, I'm just saying, there's no. It's a very close margin by a lot of ways. So, what about yourself?
Mine's a little bit different because I feel like there is kind of a larger gap, and the way I did it is the way I did it last year, which is just a weighted ranking. So rank everybody 1 to 14 on every one of their positions, right? And you can't just do that and say, okay, well, who has the best score? Because clearly, if you have the best kicker and the worst QBs, you're not on the same scale as
That's like
everybody
your
else.
opinion, man.
That's like your opinion. But so what I did was the score is 15 points, right? Um, 4 points for your quarterbacks, 3 points for your receivers, 2.5 for running backs, one for tight end, one for kicker, one for DL, 1.5 for DB, and 1.5 for D. Okay.
So you just did the same thing, but in a longer form. Okay, great. Your system doesn't work either.
I
Let's
didn't
move
say
on.
your system didn't work.
That's
It's all
basically what you said, but
opinionated.
all right, yeah.
It's all
Go on.
opinionated.
Go on.
But then that added up 1 through 14, weight it, and then you get a number at the end. And that number that spit out at the end, a lot of times, isn't what I fucking thought I was going to be. But we'll just get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 1 through 14. Tell me, Scott, who is your number one team and why?
So I have two teams in my top tier, which I
Okay.
feel like are usually I'm kind of going more by tiers.
Sure.
My top tier right now, I'm going to start with is actually Last Man Standing.
Wow. Okay.
His team, I'm pretty impressed with his draft. Very solid team. Had a high score for his quarterbacks with Josh Allen, Brock Purdy. He wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, Khalil Shakir, not the best. He had not a great, but pretty solid right there. Derrick Henry, I expect to have another great season. I know you're not a fan of Brian Robinson Jr., but I think he'll land somewhere that be fine. He could also use Ramondre Stevenson, but Kittle is also a very good choice there. His defense is very solid. His defense is one thing that I scored him very highly on. I think he has one of, if probably the best defense in the league. So,
okay. Do you have so there's only two teams in your top tier?
yes, second team is actually Benjamin Harrison.
Okay.
My opponent this week.
Oh.
I mean, he's got CJ Stroud, who I expect to have a big bounce back year. He has Tua as well, which as long as he's healthy, I expect to have a very good year as well. Tyreek, if Tyreek plays, he has probably one of the scariest wide receiver core in the league. Debo, Tyreek, and DK. That's pretty disgusting. And then you go into his running backs, and it's not a cakewalk because it's fucking big, sexy Bijan Robinson and Omarion Hampton as a great rookie as a backup with a team that's going to fucking run all day. So then you got Mark Andrews. It doesn't get any better. His defense is very solid as well. Patrick Queen, Bolton Dotson. So yeah, he ranked very high up there. So that's my top tier right now is Last Man Standing and Benjamin Harrison.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is why we do these, and it's so fun to do these because we are way off. We are just right now. We're just not in the
Are they
same
like near
ballpark
the
there.
bottom for you?
I don't say they're near the bottom, but it's just not. You'd think we would be in agreement. I mean, in other years we were in agreement, like this team's the best, whatever. But this is kind of a different draft. So just to note, these two teams, because you did two teams, all the two teams were super close. I mean, we're doing it in a scale. It's a large scale, and these guys were 0.50 away from each other, and they're the top two. So top one is going to be Disco Lemonade. I had him. Let's see, fifth. No, I'm sorry, sixth in quarterback, third in running back. He is in the bottom tier, but he has 6 points for. I'm sorry, fifth in receiver or quarterback, third in receiver. He's in the bottom tier in running back. He has got 6 points for running back and tight end, 5 points for his D. I'm sorry, 5 points for his kicker, 12 points for his Ds, 8 points for DBs, or 12 points for DLs, 8 points for the DBs, and 9 points for Ds. So he was number one at 131.25. Right behind him is Chase, who is actually, it's very odd because what I didn't realize about Chase's team is his defense is fantastic. What he did, it's the best defense. He has the worst wide receivers on my rankings. Uh, Great QBs, uh, some fantastic running backs, and the best kicker for whatever that's worth. So the most double digits out of anybody in the league was Chase. I think that without that weakness at wide receiver that he has, I mean, he clearly kind of neglected it, right? So his team isn't like it's not terrible by any means because he got starting wide receivers. It's just they
Mm.
all fit in the wide receiver three bucket. So George Pickens, Dave Flowers, Rashid Shaheed. Rashid
Yeah.
Shaheed on that team might be like a 4. So it's just a very
Yeah.
big weakness for him. As far as Neil's concerned, everybody raved about Neil's defense, and I'm not saying it's not bad, but Chase's defense is better. I mean, in every spot except for DL. So yeah, I like Chase's team. I like Neil's team. Neil's was just slightly ahead, and I think the reason Neil's was slightly ahead is that offensive balance, quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs. Um, Neil usually has a great draft, so he didn't do a lot of things that I thought. I mean, I talked to Neil a lot before the draft. He didn't do a lot of things I thought he might do. I thought he would go not quarterback, not quarterback. Bo Nix was a huge shock for me for him to pick somebody like that because I just feel like last year's numbers didn't have a foundation where it's like I kind of trust this guy. A great season,
So
but
your top two are Disco Lemonade and Camacho.
Neil and Chase, yes, yes.
Wow.
So, what's your next tier? How many people do you have in your next tier?
My next tier has three teams, and they scored an 11. So the first two teams, last man standing, scored an 8, and what's it called? Benjamin Harrison scored a 9 in my scoring. They were the
Okay.
lowest scores in my team on my rankings. The next score was an 11, so they're just 2 away.
Okay.
And that I'm going to start with Professor. I think he had a very, very solid draft. I think Baker's set up for another very pass heavy offense of a year, just like he did last year. He has a bit of a weakness at QB2 with Russell, but he has Cam Ward to back it up, so I'm not worried about that. I expect Cam Ward to possibly have a very good year. And then he has Jamar Chase as wide receiver core, scored obviously very well, backed up with Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. And then Josh Jacobs and Alvin Kamara, I do love them, but they are very old. I'll give him that. His J.K. Dobbins and Eckler on his bench, though. So again, that's the kind of the value part that I gave him later. So great value and bench spots there. His defense, very solid. Alua Khan, Blake Cashman, Terrell Bernard, very solid D. Brandon Jones, Metellus, pretty good DBs, and Aiden Hutchinson as a DL. I know he's come back from injury, but I expect him to have a pretty good year. So he's definitely in that tier. Next is Camacho, actually. So like I said, we're not too far off on some of these.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow and Jordan Love, I think, is fantastic. One of the best QB lineups in the league. Yeah, his wide receivers did score high on my this. They scored a 3, almost a 4. If I did points, I probably should have done 0.5s, separated out a little bit more, but yeah, probably would have about 3.5 or 4 because Pickens, Flowers, and Shaheed, that can go south quick. Devon Chain's hurt right now. I do expect Jonathan Taylor to have a better year with Daniel Jones at quarterback, and he has a very solid defense as well. Great defense. TJ Edwards, Cody Burton, Micah Parsons. Micah plays, that'd be big for his defense for sure.
Yeah, that's disclaimer.
Yeah.
If Micah does not play, his so I have him ranked from like 7th in the league in DL. If he does not play, he's definitely in trouble with that, and he could drop down to his 3rd, 4th in my.
Yeah. sorry, I did Professor Camacho, and third one is actually myself. I'm pretty happy with my team right now. I scored an 11 as well. I know Lamar Jackson needs to stay healthy, obviously. Don't get stepped on. That'll be very helpful. But with that, I know Sam Darnold might not keep his job all year. Everybody keeps talking about Jalen Monroe, but he needs to hold on to it long enough for Jackson Dart to get his job from Russell Wilson, which he'll do eventually. And then Cortland Sutton, Xavier Worthy, Jerry Jeudy. I expect all those offenses to be better this year. I know might not be the high all wide receiver ones, kind of more ranking high wide receiver twos, but I expect all of their Denver offense to be better. Kansas City's supposed to have better offensive line for deep balls. Cleveland should have better quarterback play at some point in between. If Flacco doesn't do it, then they give the ball to somebody else. And then Saquon at running back. I'm very happy I basically drafted against a lot of my instincts as a Steelers fan. Drafting Lamar and Saquon, like I said, I'm pretty happy with that. Aaron Jones, running back, he's pretty solid. He might lose his job. Jordan Mason, I understand that, but that's why I have a little running back depth on the our bench with Jalen Warren and Chris Rodriguez. That's nice. And my defense is just, like I said, thumpers on the Levante David, Alex Anzalone, Alex Highsmith getting some sacks. Kyle Hamilton's probably one of the best DBs in the league. Cameron Curl on great defense as well. Patrick Surtain, I understand that's not a popular pick. I just actually like his first couple games. It's against Tennessee and Indianapolis. I just have a feeling that Cam Ward's going to be really stupid and be like, he's not that good. I'll throw it his way. And so will cross-eyed Joe there, Daniel Jones. So I definitely expect that. Yeah, I definitely expect it. I'd put a shot bet on it.
That he throws an interception specifically to Surtain?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, shot bet.
Yes.
Shot bet.
Jalen Carter and Kobe
If he does that, there's a good chance I'm taking shots anyway. So, damn it!
All right, that's great. So yeah, that's my second tier there. All scored 11s. So
since you gave 3, I'll give 3. So comparatively, 130s. It was 130.75, 131 for the top 2. Number 3 here is only 0.75 away from the next one, so it's very close as well. And number 3, I do have you, Darth Scott, at number 3. You had some blaring weaknesses in mind, but
I do, and one thing I forgot to say is a lot of my team depends on Shedeur and Jackson Dart turning valuable either for myself or trade value. A lot of that depends on it, basically.
Well, to fix some of these deficiencies, maybe, yeah,
basically. Overall
so
for a season, so.
Yeah, and if you're double digits in one of these categories, that means you're like almost on the podium, right? You're one of the top 5 in the category, and you were 12 at quarterback, 10 at running back, 12 at kicker, and 10 at D. So your bottom 6 and everything else. So receiver, tight end, DL.
You don't like Tucker Kraft? Not a Kraft guy?
No, I mean he's the third worst. I mean, we're just going by rankings here and just going by projections.
I think he's kind of great. Jordan Love was hurt a lot last year. He had to deal with no throw backup guy. That can hurt you for a little bit. Couldn't throw.
Well, I mean, it would have been so. It's really hard to have bad rankings when you pick number 1 overall, Lamar Jackson, and then you pick Saquon. Like Saquon was one of the highest scores. I mean, the highest scored running back last year. So you have those players. You draft them in the first round. Lamar's won every year or won the last 2 years. So there's that. It's really hard to not rank that. It's just that's where you're at. So 4 out of the 8 categories you were top 5, which is pretty good. 125, third place, not bad. That's just how the numbers spit it out. I don't know if I would have picked that just looking at it.
You're paper. Like looking at my team. I don't like him.
I mean, kinda, yeah. So, but it spit out. I'm like, hey, once you run the numbers, it's like, okay, actually, this person has good D's. I can't rank any quarterbacks over him at this point, number 12. So it is what it is. But basically, the analysis of your team is you're strong in the spots you're supposed to be strong and weak in the spots that you're supposed to be weak, or you should be weak, or could be weak. Um,
Uh,
so yeah, that got you third. Fourth was Breadbasket, real close to you,
mhm.
and coincidentally 13 in quarterback. So it's like you're seeing kind of a trend here. Neil got 9 points out of quarterback. Chase got 10 points out of quarterback. You got 12 points out of quarterback, and Breadbasket's 13 points out of quarterback. So the people who got pretty good quarterbacks um, are kind of higher in the rankings. So that doesn't stand true for everybody, but I said that Brad was second best in quarterbacks. Again, it's really hard to rank somebody negatively when they have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, right? It's that's going to be a good ranking
Yep.
overall when you get those first two. But Brad did good at tight end. Um, he did really good on defense. I thought his DLs I thought were the best in the league combined, and I thought his D was also really solid. So I don't think Brad does this every year, but when you get two D1s, DL1s, Max Crosby and Daniil Hunter, and then you got uh, you know the Logan Wilson, Quincy Williams, Frankie Louvu combination. I think that's a decent combination. Um, so yeah, I gave Brad fourth place, and you gave one more. You're gonna be surprised by this one,
Hmm.
but that's you got 121 points, 121.5, so slightly below y'all, but close up there, and that's Clay. Um, and the reason that I took Clay, he's got quarterbacks that are pretty good. He's got 11
Mhm.
in the quarterback rankings, right behind you. A really good tight end. He spent a lot on tight end uh, to
TJ
go up.
Hawkinson?
Did he have T.J. Hawkinson?
Did he trade?
He did have Hawkinson. Okay, so I
Oh,
had
he has
the
Kincaid on his bench as well.
right.
So the
I
combination of them, or do we have a two tight end league? Am I unaware?
so no, I read that wrong. I'm sorry.
No, it's
But
okay. He might start
but
both of them.
yeah, no, yeah, I wish. I would love to have double tight end. Like
I'm kind of coming around to it.
there are tight ends on the waiver wire right now that should be
That
owned,
should be
friends.
started.
They should be started. They will get points. I don't know, but I can't. After the discussion that we had this year, it's really hard to try to convince people we need more people. So
We
it's
need to
not
make it
something I'm going to
longer.
push. Yeah, we need to make it longer. But no, I like Clay's defense. He's on the top half of pretty much everything. And yeah, so I like Clay's team as number five. Um, I'm sorry, Clay was actually eighth in tight end. So I definitely got that wrong. But yeah, top half and quarterback. He struggles at wide receiver and running back, but pretty much everything else, um, he's above. Like a lot of people in this, you're going to see people in the lower half of more than half of what they have, and so that's kind of how you regress. You have a lot of
Yeah.
weaknesses if you're not better than everybody else. Clay just seems to kind of balance that and be in the top half of most things, which makes him fifth overall. So who's your next tier up here?
So my next tier actually has a couple of guys you were just talking about when Breadbasket is one of them. Like you said, he scores very high in his quarterbacks. Pretty okay in his wide receivers, pretty well, and then his running backs drops a little bit for me in his defense. But like you said, he scores very high in those parts of Patrick Mahomes and Herbert. I mean, can't argue with that. I only worry about their matchups sometimes during the year. They play some really good defenses, both playing Denver twice, basically. Um, so, but no worries there. I mean, they play them every year. My next guy there is actually going to be Notorious.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like his team. I mean, Jalen Hurts, Flacco, is that his really second quarterback?
Hey,
It's like,
can I tell you before you go on?
it's like,
Notorious is my next person too. And when I ran the numbers, I was like, what the fuck?
wait, what? Okay. But that's going to be a really big issue. And he's got Anthony Richardson on the bench.
You did these rankings and you didn't see this?
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's my
He ranks,
worst quarterback.
hold
This
on.
is my worst quarterback rankings, even though he has Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, it is worse. It is the worst quarterback rankings, but I do love his wide receivers: Drake London, Jackson Smith, Nick Jibba, Jamison Williams, and his running backs scored high as well between Chris McCaffrey and James Cook. If they both stay healthy, they should be one of the best running back duos in the league. So, and I even like Njoku at tight end this year with quarterback play, but he's got an issue with quarterbacks. And then his defense is pretty good. I mean, Roquan Smith, Jordan Brooks, Brian Burns, excellent start there. Antoine Winfield is safety, and Buda Baker have some of the best DBs right there. So he needs to find a defensive lineman, but I don't think that's the hardest thing in the world. So, but still, I think that's very solid team right there. Red Basket, and then I actually have you in this in this bracket right here. These you all scored 12, so the last bracket was 11. You guys scored 12, so that's what I'm saying. Like mine are very close. Margin's not very far off. Drake May should have a great year this year. I expect a lot of him. Daniel Jones, basically, job's his. I think that offense needs a quarterback more like him, kind of more on cue with like somebody that's just cross-eyed enough. That helps a lot. And then your wide receivers, you got dinged a little bit for new wide receivers because Nico Collins should be wide receiver one, just stay healthy. Rasheed Rice, I love for 4 weeks, and then you got to do something for sure. You got to really have a wide replacement there because Stephon Diggs, I also am not a huge fan of. He's been on like five teams in 4 years. So we'll see what happens in New England for him. If it works out, then you have a great stack and jack, but we'll see. Your running back scored high, Ashton Genty and James Conner. I think that was a big upgrade just because while I like Caleb Johnson, I don't like him right away. Like he might not get enough work to be startable right away. In a few weeks, maybe.
Well, Caleb Johnson's not on my team anymore.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Before I had to, I changed your scores because of some of those trades. I was like, okay, that was a good trade. That definitely helped your running back room because if you're starting 2 rookies, the uncertainty of that was shaky at best. Evan Ingram, not bad at tight end, but not great either. You have some value on the bench with Shuck, at least, so that's good. And your defense scored well. Very bonito defense. Good pickup in Peyton Wilson. I think he should have a good year. Travis Hunter there, playing both ways. We'll see. He also could get hurt both ways apparently, so we'll see. Julian Love and Cam Bynum for DBs though. Great choices in Greenard. Very great with the flexibility there. LBD and same with James Heinallen. So great drafting there. I think that was good choices.
Yeah. I mean, I think you gave 3, right?
I did.
So I was number.
Yeah, those are my 3 there. Yeah.
I was number 8. I think.
Right? Yes, I believe so. Sounds about right.
All right, I'll give 3 here. This is a finish out the playoffs. So all those teams that you have named have made the playoffs. All these teams that I will finish up here have made the playoffs. So I had Notorious here, and Notorious is a crazy team. It's just so bizarre, and it's like, why do you rank him? How can you rank somebody the worst quarterbacks when they have a lottery pick? Like you pick Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts struggled at the. He had a part of the season where he was just kicking ass, but he struggled in the beginning of the season. He struggled at the end of the season with injuries. He didn't show up for the championship at all. He kind of struggled there at the end, up in well, not up until the championship, but obviously did not play, and that risk is always there. And I think that's why people didn't really want to pick him in the lottery, and that was people's fear. It landed on Danny. Danny took him. So then Danny followed it up with Anthony Richardson, like cross your fingers, high upside, whatever. Didn't work out so far, and he got the worst quarterback situation that you could possibly have, which is the Browns, and he's starting him. So when you draft the Browns, everybody was like, I want to draft the Browns as a third quarterback. I was afraid that I might have to draft the Browns as a starter if people decided they wanted to fuck me over. Uh, well, it happened with Danny. He got fucked over. So it's like, how do you recover from that? Second best wide receivers, second best running backs, second best uh, D's, and third best defensive backs. Like the rest of it is kind of it struggles. But to have those high rankings in all those spots, especially running backs and wide receivers, can absolutely carry you. Next up, I had Benjamin Harrison. So Benjamin Harrison has a team that's like it's like Max said, I'm going to take all the players that nobody else wants. Like all the really unattractive, high floor players, unsexy players. I'm going to take Tua. I'm going to take C.J. Stroud. I mean, I wouldn't say that quarterback of the Texans, unattractive, but jumping on him in the first round was definitely like a surprise. Mm-hmm. But like the Dolphins stack, I couldn't tell you anybody I talked to that will want the Dolphins stack. Deebo Samuel's supposed to be the wide receiver too for Washington. I know it's like he wasn't really wide receiver one in San Francisco, so it doesn't really matter. But come on, it's not. DK Metcalf last year wasn't really. I had him on my team. It's not like he was a free 10 points. But Bijan and Omarion Hampton are great running backs. Mark Andrews, again, boring, high floor, hopefully for him, kind of guy. And just a pretty solid defense. Yeah, he's got a hole with Kyle Duggar, who might not have a team coming up, but three great Ds. Kirby Joseph, Minka Fitzpatrick, like he did great job at drafting defense. So it's a very boring team, but boring enough to make the playoffs. You don't have to be exciting to make the playoffs. So he would be number 7, and number 8. I have Unicycle Polar Bears. What I had him doing really well, he has the best receivers in the league. Okay. He spent his top 2 picks, I think, on receivers, or top 2 of his 3 picks on receivers. Not great quarterbacks in my book. He is third to worst, the worst tight end in Kyle Pitts. That's just like a freaking Hail Mary. That wasn't even in my top 14 tight ends. So he's definitely... there's tight ends out there on the waiver wire I'd rather have, but great DLs, fantastic DLs, and a pretty good kicker, and that combined with the decent running backs puts him right there, enough to make the playoffs. I mean, to be the 8th best team, all you got to do is have that high floor, and I think he's definitely done it. But yeah, the Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., that's what happens if you wait till the 3rd and 4th. You're not going to get these top receivers, 2 wide receiver ones and 2 top half wide receiver ones, and good quarterbacks. So you got to kind of give somewhere. He's got good depth at those positions too. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt at running back as well. That's somebody that's up and coming. So definitely the 8th place team. All right, let's start on the outside of the playoffs looking in. And again, this doesn't mean that we don't think these teams are going to make the playoffs. This is the foundation that you've set.
And this is a lot of close margins too. Like I said, I'm a point off here and things like here. And sometimes when I relook at the teams again, I reevaluate a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, oh, maybe you didn't suck as much as I thought he did, kind of thing. So, and like I mentioned earlier, just a couple moves that Huck moved him in my rankings, like 3 or 4 spots, basically. Mm-hmm. I was like, I like that. Those are good moves. I was like, so any kind of moving, trading, pickups, I mean, obviously every week, every game, stock's going to go up and down. So my next on mine is actually Eternal Touchdown.
Okay.
He ranked
That's
pretty well.
That's pretty generous of you, to be
Pretty
honest.
generous. Why do you say that?
Well, because I
Is
just
he pretty low
expected
on
you to
yours?
come in here. You guys been going at each other for a while. I just expect you to come in here and just rank them last.
No, I've got different people at last. Like I said, I just looked at this purely, I mean, just by the numbers. Jane Daniels and Kyler Murray, if they stay healthy, that'll be one of the best quarterback duos in the league. Now, if Jane Daniels has a sophomore slump and Kyler Murray gets injured a bunch, can't finish a year, the whole like he usually can't. I mean, that's a whole different story. But we'll get to that book when it writes itself. His wide receivers, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Olave, and Matthew Golden, that leaves a little left to be wanted. I think it's a bit of weakness for him there. Bucky Irving, running back, I love him. Jordan Mason, nice up and comer. Tight end, no. TJ Hawkinson, he's kind of dropped off the map, but he might have a good year with JJ McCarthy. You never know. Rookie quarterbacks like their, I know he's not a rookie, but in basically his rookie year, they like tight ends, and he's got a backup anyways. The bench depth is okay. I mean, he's got Jalen Milroe. That's not bad. Maybe he turns into something, but it's not great. I feel like there's almost everybody on there you can drop other than like Braylon Allen. Good defense, not great, but good defense. Zaire Franklin could be a beast again. I think Talanoa Afanga on Denver should be great. So he definitely has some great options there. Jack Campbell, probably a couple guys to get rid of, but this is what I guess looking at ninth, like you said, right outside. Next after that, I have the Maestro actually.
Mm.
And these people scored 13. So like I said, right off the cuff there. Jared Goff, I don't expect to drop off. He's been doing this for a little while now, even though lost his offensive coordinator. Stafford is a big issue there. Stafford, he has a back issue, and like that doesn't get better. You know what doesn't help back issues? Getting sacked, getting tackled, getting hit, playing full contact sports. I doubt when you go see a fucking back specialist, they're going to be like, go play full contact football after this if you have back issues. I'll go ahead and guarantee you that right now. So it's he doesn't have a backup for that right now. I'm looking at his bench, and it's just all running backs. He should get the pain jersey. He drafted all running backs. You can't stop me. I got all the running backs. You got to come to me if you want one. But Justin Jefferson.
I think he identified a weakness, and he just decided he was going to try to stack
corner the market.
Yeah,
get in here. But
because none of them, they're all like right next to each other as RB3 and RB4s. Like he drafted down the running back list. He's like, one of these are gonna hit.
One of these, the rest of them we got to drop.
Yeah, or trade if they get a starting job or something.
They have
like
no
hopefully.
Value. Get those out of here. Don't trade me.
He doesn't have an RB1, so he just filled his.
Yeah,
like he's got RB2s and RB3s like down the list.
Yeah. But then I also have Rumham in that tier as well.
Okay.
With 13. It's a kind of a weird team all around. He doesn't have any superstars, but he's pretty just solid across the whole board. Between Justin Fields and Bryce Young, I don't trust Justin Fields, but he should get a lot of points. He's the guy there. Nobody's going to take his job. T. Higgins, Ladd McConkey, and Garrett Wilson scored well on wide receivers there. Very solid across the board. Breece Hall and David Montgomery, I don't love it, but they do score points. The problem is that Trevor has the tripod of the Jets.
Yeah.
That's a problem. You cannot have the Jets tripod. He has got to trade out of that. I'm sorry, but even as if I was not a huge Steelers fan, that is not a good week one to have the tripod of the Jets going against the Steelers when Justin Fields was just on the Steelers and they're like, yeah, we practice against him every day. We know what he can do and what he can't do. Like, we're going to fucking eat him alive. So, and that's not me saying that. That was Peyton Wilson. So I wouldn't trust it. I obviously want the Steelers to win, but like that's something is a problem because, like I said, by the numbers and separately, fine. All together on one team, if it goes bad, it's going to go real bad for Rumham. Great defense though, excellent defense. Fred Warner, Jermaine Pratt, T.J. Watt, Derwin James Jr., Zach Allen. I mean, very, very solid defense. So, one of the top defenses in my book. So, like I said, just a few issues I feel like you might have with having the tripod of the Jets.
Well, especially because when you have the Jets, when you have a tripod period, you want that quarterback to throw because you want him to throw to the running back and you want him to throw to the receiver. And Justin Fields is more geared, whether you like it or not. I mean, I'm not shitting on Justin Fields, but he's not going to throw 30 touchdowns, right? He's going to throw probably 20 something, and you're hoping that a good portion of those are to Garrett Wilson. So what does that leave for Breece Hall? Well, that leaves taking away from Garrett Wilson and taking away from Justin Fields. So you got to pick. Like, I don't like having two of those three. I think would be fine, but having all three is maybe an issue. Maybe an issue.
Yeah. But I mean, he trades all the time. That's why also we say, I mean, these are close margins, and a couple trades can make a big difference. And Trevor's obviously no stranger to trade, so I don't think that's a problem that'll last long. I'm sure.
Yeah, it might be a stubborn thing. He might say, "Well, because the reason he picked Breece Hall is because he fell so far." And I had Breece Hall as back end RB1, maybe top RB2, but it's like I don't want to draft him because I had him last year and he was bad at the end of the year. That may have been Aaron Rodgers effect. I don't know, but I didn't want Breece Hall at all. And so it's like I think it's a really unsexy pick on how he finished last year. But he's like, it's still here for me. I have to take Breece Hall. So if there's one person he's going to get rid of, it would probably be Breece Hall, but to try to get some profit or something, it just won't happen before the season starts.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Should I do my non-playoff people?
Yeah. Next tier.
I had my 9th as Professor. Professor kind of struggled. Now you got to understand 105.75. It's pretty significantly worse than my top two, which were 131 and 130, Chase and Neal. Not far, 4 points from Cameron at 9, so not too far. But I thought he's obviously pretty good at receiver. I thought he was, he's got a decent kicker. Everything else is in the bottom half, though. Running backs is probably the best of the group. I thought that he definitely took some risks. Devontae Adams, you kind of know what you're getting with Stafford, right? Or what you're getting into with Stafford, right? Yeah. So you're looking at Puka Nacua and you're looking at Devontae Adams. It's like, well, Puka's got to eat. Devontae Adams getting older. You don't know what you're going to get out of the quarterback. Maybe it's a miracle and Stafford's tough and he comes out and he throws 40 touchdowns. Probably not. You saw at the end of last season there was connection with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. What kind of connection do you have as a wide receiver 2 for a team that might actually run the ball? So Devontae Adams, questionable pick. Jacoby Myers was kind of an unsexy pick, even though he's probably wide receiver 1. But Bowers is really the wide receiver 1 on that team. Quarterback 2, Cam Ward, Russell Wilson. Like, who are you gonna?
Yeah,
it's a struggle. I think
there's holes.
Yeah, nobody really wanted to take Baker. Clay ended up taking him, and he ended up trading for him. He really liked Baker. I'm not hating on that pick. I'm not hating on Jamar Chase because technically that gets you 2 first rounders right there next to each other. But it just seems like besides that, there's nothing blaring out there. Your tight end's not great. Your running backs aren't top tier. They're both good. They're not top tier. Your defense, you know, uh, nothing really stands out. You got Aiden Hutchinson, that's fantastic. I hope he's back from that broken leg that he had last year. But Carl Granderson wasn't even on my radar. I don't even think he's. I think it's like a DL2, DL3. He only had 5.5 sacks last year. It's not what you want out of your DL. You just want sacks. And spending an eighth pick on Aluakon, he's moved to the outside. I don't see anything on him being on the inside. I think Devin Lloyd's on the inside, so that's you're picking him on name value, and he only had 107 points last year. I know he was hurt a little bit, but that's not great value for your defense. So, yeah, I have him at 9, better than others, right there, pushing the playoffs, but definitely room for improvement. At 10, I had Rumham. This is one of the guys we agreed does not make the cut for the playoffs. Really strong in some spots, wide receiver, tight end, and DL. Obviously, you got T.J. Watt and Brock Bowers, and then followed up with some, great tight ends. But you're right. You know, Justin Fields is a huge question mark right now, and he got everything that was connected to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got not only he's investing in this, but he's investing in subsidiaries around him. Brees Hall and David Montgomery don't do much for me. I mean, both of them kind of. I mean, David Montgomery's like great for fantasy, and he has been, but it's like when's that fall off? That's always like when's the hot potato going to go? He did struggle with injuries a little bit last year. He's obviously running back 2 on his team. How much production, how many points are you going to get out of David Montgomery? Yeah, at the beginning of last year, it was like, boom, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Are you going to get that this year? Or are those going to be Jahmyr Gibbs touchdowns on the 5-yard line? Or are those going to be Laporta touchdowns on the 5-yard line? So there's questions there. He invested in Mixon and Godwin. They're probably not going to start the year. He's got 3 quarterbacks, which could help with trading down the road. But yeah, there's a lot of deficiencies there. You kind of knew that there was going to be deficiencies with the way he drafted, but you would hope that the ones that he did draft, like wide receiver, he did, first and tight end, but I would hope that he would draft enough wide receivers to be like the best wide receiver guy or the best running back guy, and he just wasn't. He just didn't do that. He spread it out too much. It's like he traded back to do the strategy and decided he was going to draft quarterbacks anyway, getting Bryce Young and Justin Fields. But that's who he wanted, and so he made it happen. I got him at 10th. That's one of only 3 teams that we agree is not going to make the playoffs. Everybody else we think could have a possibility. Mm-hmm. And this is, again, just based on their foundational draft. Then at 11, I have myself. My rankings, my numbers, and I spit myself out as 11th.
Wow.
Well, I
quite modest.
Yeah, but the strategy, what I set myself up, I maybe for the past few years I've gotten too much into like this strategy mindset where I'm just going to follow this blueprint or this game plan when I don't let it like flow. Don't just pick somebody who's like there. I'm going to stick to the strategy, and the strategy was, upside. I want people with high ceilings. I want people who could finish in the lottery. Drake May could finish in the lottery. Ashton Jitty could be running back 1.
High ceilings for sure.
High ceilings. Travis Hunter could be a first round pick. I picked him almost in the first round. He could be a first round pick. That people could be saying, "What the fuck? This is a cheat code." Right?
I mean, I agree. That's why I picked a lot of rookies as well. Because you got to have somebody that we really have no idea. They could be offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, something of that nature.
Yeah, I keep looking.
Maybe both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe both for Travis Hunter's sake. But I keep looking at like, okay, I could have drafted Goff. Is Goff going to finish in the lottery? Probably not.
The more you say it, you're
Prob-
like, nah,
I
probably
mean,
not.
going to be
He'll
really
be like
good.
right at the edge, like 8th, right after next quarterback.
He's gonna have 30 or 40 point games sometimes scattered throughout the year. But is he gonna finish in the top 6? Is he gonna dominate? Drake May has the ability, the talent. I don't know if he has the system or whatever to be the Josh Allen and go out there and like
You
score on the
need him
ground
to
and score through there.
to make
I
the
do.
playoffs.
Well, yeah, I have myself ranked as 11th. I have second worst quarterbacks in the league. So yes,
Because Daniel Jones might lose his job too.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I understand what I'm getting into, but yeah, I thought I had the best DBs. That's by default by picking a wide receiver DB. Neil's positional rankings or positional stats are going to be so fucked up because I have a wide receiver 3 playing DB, and that's fucking cheating. So yes, I feel like that was my best position. I feel like running back after I got Connor, made myself with Ginty and Connor one of the top 4 at that position. Everything else kind of struggles. My wide receivers okay, kicker okay, DL okay. The worst D's in the league. I have the worst D's in the league. This is just something, again, when you're talking about high potential, something that I've done in the past is try to take green dot people who play middle linebacker, low floors, get a lot of tackles. Like, let's explore a little bit. Let's go with some outside linebackers. Let's go with some people who are going to get some sacks. Let's go with the Nick Benitos of the world who may get you 2 or 3 points, uh, or may get you 20. Let's see if we can really bust some people up with some big plays and balance that out with, you had mentioned Peyton Wilson earlier. I picked him up. Like, let's see if I don't know if he's going to be green dot. I don't know who is green dot on the Steelers. Maybe you could tell me. I should probably ask you first. But yeah, just
I think, yeah, I think he is.
Peyton Wilson. I
Yep.
hope so. Um,
Well, no, might be Patrick Queen, but yeah, no, I think it has actually Peyton Wilson.
okay, but yeah, I mean, I know it doesn't look good on paper, and hopefully I put some rocket boosters up my ass and fucking boost into the playoffs, because I definitely need it because it doesn't look good on what I drafted right now. And then I think that's it for my next 3 out of the playoffs, and then we got our bottom 3. So go ahead and give me your bottom 3.
Okay. Sorry, I was like, I thought I missed. I was
I
like
think we
missing
only
a person.
agree on one
No.
person being in the bottom 3. If I've
Yeah, because
done
my next bottom is actually Disco.
wow,
Yeah.
my number 1 is your number 13.
Yeah, that was
Or
one that I
12.
was like, we're pretty far. That when you said that early on, I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of risk for me just because while I do think that Bo Nix is gonna have a great year, I think Sean Payton is a great quarterback from being. He did have a good year last year. There's a lot of risk. He could very well have a sophomore slump. JJ McCarthy, same thing. We have no idea what we can get from him. Yes, they both have very high ceilings. Great offenses could end very well, but they also have some very low floors, in my opinion, as well. CeeDee Lamb, Tetois, McMillan, and Devontae Smith. I feel like while yes, they will end with a decent amount of points, he will have weeks where they do almost nothing as well. And then Chase Brown and Trevion Henderson. We're now starting 3 rookies basically already on his offense. That's not a good sign normally. That's a lot. Well, it's a lot of risk. It's a lot of risk. I want at least a couple show me a weeks. I'm not going to lie, especially if you're starting 3, 1, fine, 2, okay, 3. Now we got issues. Why don't you have better people? So it's and then Tyler Warren for tight end.
Oh, I like Tyler Warren.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the most talented tight end in the draft. And if you're Daniel Jones, who are you going to look at? You're going to look at the big white guy first. Runs great routes.
4 tight ends, 4 rookies now. 4 rookies.
Well, and Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy are second year.
JJ McCarthy is a rookie. He's a rookie.
No, okay.
No,
fine.
I know
he didn't play
it,
last year.
but he's a rookie. So we got and then Tits, and then Trevion Henderson and Tyler Ward. That is a lot of rookie. It's just a lot of risk. That's all
Two
I'm saying.
two two wide receivers on his bench are rookies too.
Jesus Christ. My God. There were other people available, Neil. You didn't have to go to all the rookies. But I'm just saying, like,
Got
and then
two rookies on the defense.
yeah. And that's the other thing is defense to me, it has equal amount of risk. I know he's got a lot of guys that are playing middle linebacker in a 4-3, but you also have a lot of guys that in past years we have no idea who they are. So again, high risk. We'll see what they'll do. And Deshaun Elliott on the Steelers defense, I guarantee you, I have never stood up and said, yes, great play, Deshaun Elliott, in my fucking life. And he's been on the Steelers for like 5 years now. Jaden Hicks, Tyke Smith, Nick Bosa, Abdul Carter. I'm falling asleep here. So his defense could be dropped pretty much 95% of it. So that's
I'm
how
gonna be watching you this year. I'm gonna be watching you. If Deshaun Elliott makes a good play, you gotta stand up and say, yes, great play, Deshaun Elliott.
I guarantee I'm literally never in my life. So
I'll be watching the game with
he
you.
Wants like a solid 4 points a week.
Yes, great play, Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, Deshaun. Yeah, literally.
Tackle assist.
That's where I'm at with Tisco. My next is actually Fupa.
Wow.
Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence. It's like, yes, they should have a lot of good points in the preseason, and then we're in the season. All of a sudden, it's Trevor Lawrence on the Jaguars, and it's Dak Prescott, and he probably get hurt like normal. But he should have a very good year. I'm just worried that he has zero run game, so I think he's gonna have as good a year everybody expects. He's double dipping on the Bears wide receivers. I'm sure he'll fix that, but that's a big issue right now, which means you're going to lose on that trade because you're in a point of position of disadvantage. AJ Brown, I do love as a wide receiver, but now, while he is a great wide receiver and he's a wide receiver one, he's on an offense with a lot of other people that eat, with Jalen Hurts rushing the ball and doing tush pushes, Saquon Barkley being able to score from any point in the field, Devontae Smith also playing very well. There's a lot of people, so he doesn't really get into that upper echelon wide receiver one and tiers. And Jahmyr Gibbs, great running back. I do love that, but I do believe David Montgomery stays a big part of the offense, and that eats away from Jahmyr Gibbs. And there are weeks that happens, but he'll still have a great season. Zach Charbonnet, not a great run. It's a bit of a weakness there. Sam Laporta, fine. Tight end, I think he's on a great offense there. He should be fine. His bench, other than Jimmy G, is just awful to me. Other than Jimmy G, could drop pretty much his entire bench, maybe Keenan Allen, but completely waste of and then his defense is also completely useless. One of the worst defenses in the league. So he's got a lot of holes, in my opinion. He's really anchoring on his quarterbacks to really have a chance, essentially, which we will see. They are fragile at best. And then unicycle polar bears is last for me, I believe. Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr.'s, yes, very high ceilings, just a lot of risk. And like I said, these are all very close margins. These teams scored a 14 here. I do love his wide receivers, scored very high in wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, and Calvin Ridley, I think are all have very high ceilings this year. I think that might be his saving grace there on most weeks. Kyren Williams, I worry about losing his job and just being older. Kenneth Walker third, great, very solid. Kyle Pitts, not useful very much at all. And then his bench is also not great. Maybe Dylan Gabriel, but I think that's big shot, long shot there. And his defense to me is also one of the weaker ones as well. We got a lot of holes there. Will Anderson Jr. possibly, but really didn't show up too much last year. We'll see what he does this year. I think could be helpful there, but I like Roseboom, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, not very far off, just a few points, a few trades here and there. Never know. And his wide receiver core could be one of the best in the league as well.
Hmm. We agree on a couple of those. We have the same exact spot for Fupa, but I'll start with my third to last, and that's last man standing. So again, comparatively, uh, Hedman has 30 less points like than the top people. I mean, that's pretty significant on a scale from like 130 to 101. He's 101. Uh, Scott Hedman is the best quarterbacks in the league, which is why you ranked him in
Yeah.
the spot you did. Uh, he has, to me, the second best kicker and the top upper echelon DLs. Everything else is
Who's the best kicker?
uh, Chase's kicker, Brandon Audrey, and I just took.
You sure?
I'm not
Well,
like
off of what?
off of projections for this year's kickers on Yahoo. That's the only position that I took.
I would while I like projections, I prefer last year's numbers, but
Okay, well, I'm not going to like. It's interesting to look at because last year's kickers numbers are absolutely fucking ridiculous compared to every other year. Like Boswell scored more points. I know,
he's so good.
But he scored more points
Gotta
than
give
like
the Boz
Nico
some credit, man.
Collins.
Try to steal the lightning from the Boz. Don't steal the lightning from the Boz. Come on.
He would have been a wide receiver too. Like it's fucking ridiculous. Like
yeah,
all
he's
kickers
a fucking
scored
man.
a ton of points. So
dude,
when you're
just like
yeah, when you're thinking about kickers and you're thinking about like, oh, they don't fucking matter. Like if you had Boswell last year, you had a fucking weapon. Like he was wide receiver too. They was just kick all NFL. The NFL was just kicking so much last year, and not only were they kicking, but they were making them from 50 plus. Like it's fucking ridiculous. So kickers are important, and Chase has the best one based on projections. So that's what I was going with. Scott has the second most. Um, so Scott just has so many problems straight out of the draft.
what are the holes? I mean, other than running back too, I think he has a pretty solid lineup.
Josh Allen and Brock Purdy. I love Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was one of the casualties of my strategy where I was like, I know I can't get Brock Purdy, but I think that they're going to throw a fuck ton, and I think he's going to have a lot of passing yards. Maybe not like a lot of points, going to make some mistakes, but I think he hits his record for passing yards and passing touchdowns. And I like that for Brock Purdy. I think that he's going to do fantastic. And Josh Allen. But you've got Terry McLaurin, who's not playing right now, and we don't know if he's going to be ready for week one. We're not far from the season. We're like a week
I know,
away
that's
or 2 weeks for the way.
Daniels, because if Terry McLaurin doesn't play, he's going to have a big issue.
Yeah. So, like, I'm looking at this Terry McLaurin, Jaylen Waddle, like, the Dolphins as a whole. I know Jaylen Waddle is one of those people where it's like, where's he going to go? He wasn't very attractive last year, 122 points. He only had 2 touchdowns all fucking year. Like, he was healthy, I think, pretty much the whole year. Like, the Dolphins are just what's going to happen. If they don't play well, like, Tua might be out, and then what are you doing? They want to, Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers, like, Jaylen Waddle's a huge risk. And then Khalil Shakir, yeah, you like to have that stack and jack, and Khalil Shakir was listed as number 1 last year, but only 144 points last year, and you've got Joshua Palmer coming in there. You've got Keon Coleman, a year more of progression. Yeah. You've got like all these different options, plus Josh Allen and Cook on the ground. What's Shakir going to get? It's not the same wide receiver 1 as you have for like some of these other teams.
God, Rodgers looks so old in his photo.
Yeah, so he's got Aaron Rodgers.
So
yeah, he looks like it's kind of like a mugshot.
Yeah, it is.
Like a homeless drunk guy.
Yeah, get this drunk off the streets.
Yeah, oh, God. But you know, you love Kittle and that's great, but also Brian Robinson. Okay, so he's going to be traded. Adam Schefter came out and said he's probably not going to play for the Commanders. So who's he going to play for? And if he's not, how's he going to catch up with the playbook? And when he does, is he going to be the starter? There's all kinds of question marks because he wasn't even like an upper echelon running back to begin with. So now what's he going to be? And if he doesn't play to running back 2 status, does Ramondre Stevenson, is that a good replacement? And so So yeah, there's a lot of questions at running back, and so you have Derrick Henry, but what do you do with the rest? That's problems, receiver problems. I think he's got. It's like he drafted all the people that have contract issues. Trey Hendrickson is not going to. He's got some question marks. His DBs. You don't know who Trey Hendrickson's going to play for. He's probably not going to play for Cincinnati. Harrison Smith is 50 years old. Robert Spillane, we really liked him when he played for Las Vegas, but now he's going to New England, and you never know what New England.
I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be good.
I think he's going to be good too, but New England does weird things with their linebackers. Sometimes they bring in big guys and they just play weird positions and they don't get the tackles. They play that 3-4. They're going to have two inside linebackers. He's not the guy. So there's just a lot of question marks with this team outside of quarterback and tight end, where you're just like, are you going to fix something? Like, they're projected really high, but he's got a lot of things that he probably needs to fix. So, maybe we see Aaron Rodgers move before week 1 to Danny Walton, something like that.
No.
Next, I got Fupa.
Which is fair. I mean, it's tough to draft out of the last spot. I mean, he is past year's champion.
He's drafted out of good spots, or that spot, or these bottom 3 spots before, though, and done a lot better. Let me tell you, there's a huge drop-off for these last 2 as far as numbers are concerned. Like, they fell off a cliff. 101 to 88 is the same as head them into the playoffs, right? So it's like these 2 teams are clearly worse than everybody else. The only thing Fupa is good at is I had him as top 4 in tight end. I really don't know what the draft strategy was. Looking at his draft, he had I got to see when the exact round. I don't want to misspeak. But Cam Little in the 12th took the first kicker overall because he kicked that 70-yarder. Like, what are you doing?
If he does that a couple times, though, like, that'd be pretty sick.
Right. I mean, he picked Judkins in the 11th. These are the times when you pick, like, decent receivers, decent whatever, and you pick the guy who's not even signed. Like, I get the upside of Quinshon Judkins if he does, but even if he signs, he's not going to get acclimated to anything until, like, week 4 or 5. So it's a huge dart throw. Picking 2 Chicago Bears wide receivers, I know it seems like innocent, but
it's a risky move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, he goes, oh, fuck. Like, when you remind him, he's like, oh, fuck. Rome Dunze is a great pick. Everybody wants a Rome Dunze that he got in the 9th round. Nobody's going to want DJ Moore, and DJ Moore's the guy he's going to want to try to trade. He's not – I know, John. He's going to be like, you want DJ Moore? People are going to know. I want Rome Dunze. Yeah. So it's like, he's going to try to get 5th-round value for DJ Moore, and everybody's going to be asking for Rome Dunze. So it's a really tough situation he put himself in. And like usual, he poo-poos on defense and decides he doesn't want to draft any. How am I supposed to rank that? How are you supposed to rank somebody that has 1 DL, it's DeForest Buckner, it's DT, and 2 DBs? You can't.
There's a lot of good DLs there. I feel like defense, to me, like, there's going to be a lot of players that get moved around in the early weeks that I'm not too worried about things like that. And he did that all last year and won a championship.
He had Lamar Jackson. It's easy to hide deficiencies when you have Lamar Jackson. It's easier to do that when you have a lottery pick. And crossing his fingers over here. But I'm just saying, we're doing a ranking show.
Whole goal.
He has 2 empty roster spots. I got to rank it as it is. You got to play the ball where it lies, and that's where he's at. So, definitely some work to do. And the worst team, this team was 7 points worse than John, and that's the Maestro.
Ooh, Maestro.
I didn't notice how bad it was before.
How bad it was. Oh, but no.
You got Goff and Stafford.
Goff.
Okay, you got really Goff, and then you got Stafford, and he Chase jumped in right after the draft on text, and he immediately tried to sell him Stafford. No one's going to want to buy Stafford, buddy, when he's sitting outside in a trailer You know,
He's becoming immortal.
getting healed with, I don't know, some sunlight or something. I don't know what's going on in there. But Justin Jefferson was obviously a decent pick, and you got Mike Evans, which Mike Evans is a hot potato. Nobody wants to say it because he's 1,000 yards, 10+ touchdowns a year, but he's a hot potato. You don't know when it's just going to fall off, right? And hopefully this
Say that
isn't for
every
your
year.
team's sake. Yeah, hopefully that for your team's sake, this is not the year that that happens or he gets injured or something like that. As far as running backs are concerned, he took two. He took R.J. Harvey, who's an RB2, and Pacheco to me was a high-end RB3. Okay, because he's a
He's low
fast
on the
runner
totem pole. He's low on the totem pole for touchdowns.
for touchdowns, and he's just low on the top of the totem pole for yardage options. He may
Yeah.
get, I mean, he could be like a 15 touch, 80-yard, no touchdown kind of game kind of guy, and that's rough. And so you think like, okay, he took Stafford, took Goff. Those are both like QB2s. He got Jefferson. Like he must be doing good at other spots, but it's not running back. Goddard, and like you think you back those deficiencies up with like other people, but they're all running backs. He got all running backs to back it up
That
to
are,
try to get
but
one.
they're all really bad running backs.
But yeah, you need a wide receiver 3. You probably need a better tight end. You probably need a third quarterback because you don't know if Stafford's going to play. You really don't. And he never did anything with that. Dallas Goddard to me was tight end number fourth to last. So what was that? 11? That's not great. And on defense, yeah, great D. Okereke and Zach Bond, you did great there. But even you got 2 defensive tackles. There are defensive
That's not
ends
going to
out
be
there that are
helpful.
more. There's and I'm not saying they're bad defensive tackles, but they're defensive tackles, which are not up to when you're taking
There are better
DLs.
defensive tackles out in the free agents right now, though, than them really.
I
So.
feel like there's a piece of Michael that says "fuck DLs," and I'm going to not pick good ones until we get rid of them. Like out of just
well,
like you couldn't get Miles Garrett, you couldn't get any of these guys like out there. You deliberately tried to do like whatever. 2 Chicago safeties. It's like he's just doing the John thing in the defensive back realm. It's just and Paulson Debo at corner. Like I don't know. I just don't like this team. Kaimi Fairbairn's fine, but I just don't like this team. It's there's not.
Say his full name.
Nah, I can't. I feel like that is for sure the worst team. And before I did this exercise, I did not realize that. Even though he's 2-12 in the draft day projections, this was just an awful draft. You know, I thought mine was bad. That was just a pitiful draft. So, good luck to Michael and John because those two are for sure trying to bring that '05 last place trophy tradition back to you guys. Um, yeah, that's all I got. You know, I'm sure people don't like those opinions. I'm sure they're going to be like, "Wow, fuck you." But we did the exercise. Anything else you got to add on at the end?
Yeah, just the same things I've been saying. That I mean, I don't feel like the margins are very wide for most teams. Some have more glaring weaknesses than others, and I think those could become more evident as the weeks go on with football being played and all. But trades can always help you or hurt you.
Yep. Yep, you're absolutely right. All right, guys, that's about it for us today. We will be back next week for a league preview. We'll talk about the weeks upcoming. We'll talk about the week 1 matchups. And we'll get down to the nitty gritty. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen in the gridiron between now and then. You got a week.
Yeah.
People are going to loosen up some moves, maybe. Right now, they're a little stiff.
I mean, are you still leading on moves?
I'm definitely going to.
You're at 5. You're at 5 already.
It was an absolutely pitiful finish to a draft. Like I was pretty not blackout, but pretty drunk, and there was a lot of people being like, "Hey, we need to get these people picking. I'm tired of picking," and like I'm drinking more, and people are trying to take the mic away from me, and I'm like, I won't ever relinquish this mic. Bury me with this mic. And so I picked some trash. I didn't even know I didn't even pick a kicker. It was just there's a lot of
Oh my
excuses I
gosh.
could use, but I just did bad, right? I just did bad, and so I had to make up for it
It's okay.
afterwards.
You can always get some moves and trades.
I mean, I've made 3 trades and used 5 moves in the first like whatever, like I
I mean,
fixed it. I
it's helped
think
your team. It's helped your
I
team.
know,
So
I
it's
know,
good.
and I'll continue to try to move pieces
Uh,
around because obviously it doesn't look good on paper, like the math even says it.
the mouse like, no, this isn't gonna
Right.
look good.
Right, we're gonna have to scrape together some stuff to
Um,
try to get some wins, but yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys next week, same time, same place. See ya.